Welcome to the Rock Island Milan School District, kindergarten through 8th grade, standards-based grading and report card presentation. This video provides information for educators in the Rock Island Milan School District regarding standards-based grading and report cards. In the Rock Island Milan School District, we began standards-based grading in the 2013-14 school year. From 2013 through 2017, we met continually and annually to revise, review, and make any changes to the standards-based grading philosophy, protocol, and report cards for the Rock Island Milan students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. Throughout that process and throughout the years, we had representation from teachers, parents, and administration. We had subcommittees continue the work. When other committees did not meet, subcommittees continued the work. This included experts from the field, as well as breakout groups from teachers, administrators, parents, and community representation. We continued to work with experts in the field, experts such as Dr. Gusky and Dr. Young from Kentucky State University, the Illinois State Board of Ed, Dr. Kathy Vetterat from the University of Missouri, Matt Townsley from Solon School District, and Amanda Stalitz from Solution Tree and Metcalf Lab School. Our district-wide report card philosophy is to reflect the current instructional level of our students. This means we keep the most recent in our thoughts as we continue throughout instruction. Standards-based grading and these report cards share individual student progress against standards or skills. This should not vary from teacher to teacher, it should not be subjective, and it should not be based on a simple formula of a percentage out of 100. This grading approach provides students and parents with a clearer understanding of the strengths and areas their child specifically needs to work on. In standards-based grading, we keep achievement and work habits or social development separate. That a student does not turn in his or her homework on time should not and does not reflect their knowledge on a specific academic area. However, it would be appropriate to look at what area of the habits of success or work habits that would fit under these areas. Students must have a clear understanding of the expectations. All grades and reports should be based on specific learning goals and standards or skills. The report card identifies these for you. Valid evidence, not arbitrary worksheets, but clearly identified grades that assess how students are doing against those already identified standards. Focus on achievement and report habits of success or work habits such as behavior, homework completion, organization, effort, etc., completely separate. Avoid averaging across the entire term. We should no longer be penalizing students for not knowing what we don't expect them to know. When we think about averaging, that is what we have to keep in mind. At the end of the term, you are still going to take the most recent scores and provide an average score. What we are not doing is averaging performance across the entire term when we haven't given ample time for instruction, ample time for practice, and ample time for assessment. Lastly, in standards-based grading, we no longer include extra credit. With the ability to redo or retake, extra credit is not needed. Hold your breath, we'll explain further. Now let's talk about averaging. We want to avoid this type of average. We still need to look at the most recent performance and possibly average from the most recent performance, but we are not to average across the entire term or instructional unit. We have all been trained to keep track of all grades, regardless of how much instruction occurred, and averaging them for the final grade. That's how most of us were taught. This all occurred to us in our school past. Averaging grades from the entire term or the entire unit was what we were always doing. In standards-based grading, we now look at a preponderance of the most recent evidence. We must decide when a grade is appropriate versus when students need a different type of feedback. Ample instruction must occur with ample practice for the students before any grades are put onto the report card. The example could be your driver's exam test. The example could be taking the SAT. Many times in real life, we are able to redo or retake a test to show that we've grown in our learning. We owe this to our students as well. The ability to redo and retake has nothing to do with a student being, quote, lazy. We must move past that and instill effective work habits in our students. However, providing them the understanding that if they didn't learn it today, there is a chance for them to learn it tomorrow. In standards-based, we use that standards-based approach. You can see on this slide, we don't take the 1 from the beginning of the unit or term and average it with the 4 at the end. We take the most recent, and that's the grade we give. In the report card system, it absolutely could be that these most recent grades are averaged. What is not averaged is the start to the end. Kids get excited rather than discouraged when we do this. When we think or know everything is averaged, the beginning assessment counts just as much as if they were given more instruction and can evidence that they did achieve later on. We no longer take learning from the start and average it with the end learning. We take the most recent performance and report out on how they are doing on that reporting time. It is key to remember, students should be allowed to make mistakes because they're learning. They should not be afraid of this, but they should be given the opportunity to show that their learning has increased from the beginning of the instruction. In standards-based grading, we must remember, do not grade absolutely everything. In our software system, you could put a grade as a marking point in the system, but you would also mark a spot in the system to show that it is not to be pulled into the final grade. What is important is feedback. Feedback is imperative. It is not always given in the form of a grade. Written feedback, conferencing, giving students the total out of the total possible are good ways to give feedback to students as they're learning. However, we must change our mindset and only grade when ample instruction, ample practice, and ample assessment have been given to the student. It is not appropriate to begin teaching a student in the final week of the quarter and then put a grade on the report card. Wait, continue your instruction, and grade that specific skill in the next quarter or term. Grades are to reflect the most current or latest learning, not how confused the student was when you began. What does the overall grade really mean? Here is a summary of the traditional way of grading versus standards-based reporting. In the traditional report card, students received 1 grade for each subject. In the standards-based approach, students receive multiple grades in each subject area because the areas have been broken into other categories. In the traditional, students' grades were cumulative. What they didn't know at the start was held against them at the end. In standards-based reporting, student grades are representative of the student's progress at the time the teacher marks the progress report. The progress report shows what we expect students to know at this point in time. not where we expect them to be at the end or in the future. Teachers are to consider the most recent assessment data in determining these grades. In the traditional grading, students received grades on effort and work habits. If I didn't turn my homework in, that may show you I have less math achievement. Those two do not go together. I also could bring in 2 boxes of Kleenex and get a better grade in math. Those two do not go together. In the standards-based approach, students still receive grades on effort and work habits. However, they are separated from academic achievement. We must show clear evidence of how a student is performing on content, separated from behaviors, and report on each. There are 4 essential components of a standards-based system. 1, the content standards, as outlined in the Illinois Learning Standards or Common Core State Standards, that describe what a student should know and be able to do at a given grade level. 2, the standards-based curriculum or roadmap a teacher uses to ensure that instruction targets these standards. 3, the assessments that a teacher and a district use to measure learning and the extent to which a student has met the standards. And finally, 4, the reporting tool that allows a teacher to communicate accurately a student's progress toward meeting standards at critical junctures throughout the school year. The standards-based report card completes our standards-based system. Why? Why do we use the standards-based approach? Standards-based grading and these report cards share individual student progress against standards. We provide students and parents with a clear understanding of where that child is performing well and in what areas that child needs additional work on. We can build that home-to-school partnership by specifically identifying where the work needs to occur. With a 4-point scale, there will be increased consistency between and among teachers. When I have a 0 to 100% scale, the likelihood of me performing drastically different depending on how the teacher grades is very significant and unfair. When we use a 4-point scale, we lessen the likelihood of such significant differences. Through this process, we have a much better understanding of what the standards expect of students and how our curriculum is aligned. Standards-based learning and grading provides us more details on student achievement, thus allowing us to partner in increased ways with the parents and community. It allows us to have a more accurate picture of each child. Once we have this more accurate picture, we can better work closely to close those opportunity gaps. Standards-based learning and standards-based grading is a national movement in education. Let's ponder about grading. Do we reward work completion or do we reward learning? Can they do the skill or are they punished for not doing the homework? If grades are extrinsic motivators, they can destroy intrinsic motivation. Good grades may motivate, but poor grades have no motivational value. We have to think, is it all about doing the homework and turning it in to get the most points? Or are we truly wanting to measure, does the student know the content in whatever way we can measure that best meets the student's needs? Let's talk more about redos, retakes, and do-overs. We want to keep achievement and habits or work habits and behavior completely separate. Contact those at home to discuss concerns in either area. Also, make sure you call to celebrate students. Zeros should never be used as a placeholder. If the student does not have a score, there should be nothing put in that field. A 0 should never be put in the field. Our scores are 4, 3, 2, or 1. Zeros cause students the inability to truly make up the work in a standards-based approach. We remove extra credit and we use only the most recent student results. When we talk about redos and retakes, this is not lessening the criteria or the expectation. This is not teaching students that they can be lazy and redo it. The process of redos and retakes must be built on a clear criteria between you and the student. The work needs to be on the student's end. There must be evidence that the student has participated in additional learning opportunities where they can show that what they didn't know when they first did the assignment or assessment, they now know because of the areas that they have completed along the way. This could be done in a variety of ways. Remediation should be very active. They have to do something to produce something. With the older students, it may be developing a plan of coming in after school, doing some work at home, meeting with a tutor. For younger students, that may be developing a plan internally with response to intervention. Some ideas for remediation. Have students work on correcting things they got incorrect on the test. Have them take home the review or quiz. Review and respond to a video. Provide tutorials. Have them participate in things such as front row, map skills, online resources that show students are learning the content in a new or different way than they did before. You can continue reading on to see other ideas. Again, redos and retakes or do-overs have nothing to do with lessening the expectation or allowing students to be lazy. It is quite the opposite. We all as adults in every job across the nation have the ability to draft and redo. We have the ability to retake a driver's test, retake the SAT, retake our teaching certification exam, retake the nursing exam, retake an accounting exam, etc. We are teaching our students that learning does not start and end at a certain point. Learning must be continual. Here is an example of the redo or retake student ticket. This is located on our Teaching and Learning website under K-12 Resources and Report Card. An example is also provided in our teacher informational packet located on the Teaching and Learning website. Here's a closer look at the parts of the ticket. As you can see, the student must put in work to develop the plan and show that learning has increased from the last time they completed this assignment or test. Here are additional resources for you to review, videos from experts in the field that talk about the importance of redos, retakes, and do-overs. In every mistake, there is potential learning. Our Rock Island Milan School District grading scale. A 4 is exemplary understanding. The student is exceeding the target. A 3 is proficient understanding. The student is right on target. A 2, the student is developing understanding. They are progressing toward the intended target. Or a 1, the student does not understand. They are not progressing at all. If an area is left blank, that means it was not measured or assessed during that reporting term. Here are a variety of other ways to explain in picture format our 4-3-2-1 grading scale. These are located on our Teaching and Learning website under K-12 Resources and Report Card. Moving out of academics and into work habits or behavior, in kindergarten through 6th, the habits of success remain as they have been. we use the same 4-3-2-1 grading scale. 4 is exemplary, 3 proficient, 2 developing, and 1 they are not demonstrating. At the junior high level, you will remain using the double plus for consistently, plus for moderately, and a minus for rarely. Additional resources are located on our school's website. A new website is in development, and we will make sure that we bring all those resources to the new website as well. Let's move on to the online gradebook and report card called Teacher Ease. On our Teaching and Learning website, you will find specifics, again, located under K-12 Resources and Teacher Ease. Here you'll find a breakout of how to generate your report cards and print in your report cards at the end of each term. Please make sure you click on the right area for elementary versus junior high. In addition, we have additional resources under K-12 report card. We have a basic 4-3-2-1 explanation. We have the 4-3-2-1 explanation in pictures, the bullseye, the smiley face, the bike riding, and Star Wars. The teacher informational packet. This is your instructional Bible for standards-based grading. Please spend time reviewing this over and over and over. You have an example report card for elementary, an example report card for junior high school, report card tutorials, and various statements that link the standards to the report card statements. Let's talk specifically about the report card tutorials. It is extremely important that not only you as educators understand this report card, but that students and parents or guardians also understand this report card. To find these resources, please go to K-12 Resources, Report Card, and Report Card Tutorials. When you click on Report Card Tutorials, this page pops up. You will find a variety of resources. Clicking here provides you the standards-based grading PowerPoint presentation in PDF format. Clicking here will show you a video of how to teach your students about this standards-based report card. The various links below here provide you all the necessary materials needed for this instruction of your students on this report card and assigning homework for students to tell their parents or guardians about this report card. The last area of resources to focus on is the tab called Standards-Based Education. On this tab are a variety of resources that will help you understand and explain standards-based grading in even more detail. Clicking on the bottom tab in that section provides you a variety of additional links for standards-based grading. These include links specific to special education. Let's dive a little bit into the Teacher Ease gradebook. This is the required gradebook and report card for kindergarten through 8th grade. To find this, go to www.teacherease.com. This is your login screen. You put your email address and your password to log in. Once in the system, there are a variety of online resources for training available under the video link. In addition, here is the video that will play when you click on the gradebook video within Teacher Ease. Additional ways to help understand standards-based grading is to network. There's a Twitter group, #SBLChat. There's a Facebook group, Standards-Based Learning and Grading. I strongly recommend you become a member to both. The Illinois State Board of Education in 2014 recommended a statewide switch to standards-based reporting and grading. We here in the Rock Island-Milan School District are way ahead as the state does continue to want to transition the state to standards-based grading. How does this impact colleges and universities? 100% of Illinois public schools believe and commit to accepting information on standards-based grading. This study was done by the Illinois State Board of Education in 2014. Illinois private universities, 82% said absolutely. The other 18% were hesitant because they didn't know much about it in 2014. I guarantee they do know more about it, and every university has the ability to convert the grading scale from traditional to standards-based. This is no different than public schools now having a different grading scale than private schools. For example, students in our high school are graded on a 90 to 100 is an A scale. Students in the private sector have to achieve a 94 to 100 to receive an A. We already have different grading scales. The standards-based grading system puts no more additional work in that thought process. The Illinois State Board took a counsel and concluded that extensive research and data analysis that they are recommending a standards-based grading approach for the entire state. We'll continue to keep our eye as the state makes changes in the future. As the educator, it is extremely important to inform parents at registration, through open house, newsletters, parent meetings, flyers, community events, etc. Please spend more than you think on helping parents understand this reporting system. With students, please make sure you do the instructional lesson that's shown on the report card tutorial site. Please work with your colleagues. Check your email for information coming out. Look for internet resources. We have continued professional development both online and in Rock Island Milan College format. Read books and seek out conversations. Additional research to support the standards-based report card is located here. In your professional learning communities, it is extremely important to talk, collaborate, and ask questions to seek assistance and network with one another. You will learn the best from one another. Please work together. Talk, collaborate, ask questions, seek assistance with one another. Work with your colleagues in your grade level or department. Grade papers together. Talk about why you rated it one way and someone else rated it another. I guarantee on this 4-3-2-1 system, you will be much more concise than on a 0 to 100% system. Network with other teachers and districts across the nation who are using standards-based grading. There are many. Review that teacher informational packet located on the Teaching and Learning website under K-12 resources and report cards. That is an extremely important document. You can do this. Take a deep breath, work together. Congratulate yourself as you make these important changes. We compliment you for tackling this important work. Take this one day at a time. Please reach out to your principal, your colleagues, others throughout the nation. This is imperative, important work and the right work to be instructing and reporting on student progress. Thank you for being innovative and helping prepare our students to be high-achieving, college and career-ready global citizens with the understanding that we are here to educate each individual child for success. Have a great day.